Actually, good story on the fucking rainbow colors. Actually, it was on not on poop, but I was on mushrooms one time. I was coming back from one town to another in Washington, and I just told my buddy, I was like, "Dude, you gotta fucking pull over. I can't do this right now. My stomach is just churning, right?" And I just we pull over the side of the road. Everything's I'm on mushrooms, so everything's not exactly to a T to begin with. But I throw up and I look up and I'm like, holy shit, throwing up was the best idea I could have ever done.
I've had that same experience. I literally had that same experience at a fish show in 2000, and
I definitely was not at a fish show.
The security was so hard on everybody because it was Y2K that there was only a certain amount of stuff that came in. And so this dude's all
cracking down at a fish concert. I didn't think that was a thing.
he had two of the most beautiful mushrooms I'd ever seen. And I was like, he's like, follow me to my tent. And so I follow him there. And his boy's like,
really?
His boy's like, I don't have any more. That he decided just to give me those 2 mushrooms just for the fucking, he's like, fuck, I'm sorry you had to follow me all the way over here. My buddy sold the last bag. This is all I got. So I'm like, sweet. Eat the 2 mushrooms. And it just starts fucking hitting me. And I start getting dizzy. And it was like, my girlfriend at the time, she was eating acid. And so she was already she's just watching me, fucking thinking it's hilarious.
You look sick. Oh my God, there's a devil.
And so I fall down on my knees and I'm just like,
blah.
And as soon as it hit the ground, it just went,
rainbows.
There was colors everywhere. I stood up and I was like, oh my God, I'm losing my shit. I'm losing my shit. Just calm down. This dude walks up to me and I go, dude, I'm losing my shit. And I didn't even know who this guy was. He goes up, it's right there. I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. I'm losing my shit. And he goes, I know, it's right there. And I'm like,
no, you already lost.
That's
right
actually a really good way to get somebody back on track.
But there was a big pile of shit sitting right there.
Oh my God!
And I was like, I found it! And I kicked it, and it went fucking everywhere.
Oh, that's
and from then on,
wait, you're at a fish concert. Were you barefoot?
No.
Good.
No.
But
no.
you voluntarily kicked shit that you don't know where it came from.
How many people do you know find their shit?
Oh, I don't know if that's...
I know a lot of people
was that your shit? Yeah, exactly. You found somebody else who lost their shit.
I found somebody's shit, and I was real fucking happy.
And then you chose to kick it? Oh, that's just gross. I don't agree with that. Don't do that.
Hey,
so I have a similar
do.
story. This was years and years and years ago. I mean, I think this is one of the first times, maybe it was the first or second time I'd ever eaten mushrooms in my entire life. And to me, it's just pot with colors. It's natural. It's a safe drug.
Which is now becoming legal in certain cities and states.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you can
all
microdose.
You people out there looking at us like we're doing something wrong.
Exactly.
Well, we're doing it right. We're just doing it before.
In 20 years.
Exactly. It helps with anxiety. People microdose and without even feeling the effects. And
there are people in Silicon Valley that constantly microdose because they feel like it opens them up.
It restarts them.
I definitely was never microdosing, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that, I guess.
You can megadose.
I want to see the pretty colors.
I guess it would be macrodosing.
So, I just got, was one of my first times doing it, so I obviously just ate way too much, and all of a sudden I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I puked, and I was looking down into it, and I was like, this is the coolest puke I've ever seen in my life. Because, it starts making patterns and it's colorful and you're just like,
oh, yeah.
I shouldn't be looking at this right now, but I can't stop.
And what's funny is it doesn't make you nauseous again because you're just so distracted by everything else. You're like, because whenever, you've thrown up drunk before and you're just like, oh, no, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
It just
but
makes you continue.
You're like,
yeah,
it's so interesting.
That's actually the only time that's ever happened to me because
it's just it kicks it in. Oh no, it used to be. I'd probably say I haven't done it a ton of times, but a few times. But every time I would throw up, and that's how I would know it.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, actually, I had several
Not me.
times.
It only happened to me once, but I think I was also drinking a shit ton before I took them, and just it was just too late to take them after I've already been drinking so much. But
and the bathroom has always been a safe place for me when I'm tripping.
Some people hate the bathroom because they hate looking at themselves in the mirror. But I do too. I'm like, I look amazing.
I always see just like waves, like just through my skin. It'll just be like waves of just like, oh man, like there's so much going on in my skin.
Yeah. And the thing about like I did acid once and I hated it because it's man-made and you feel like shit. You can't eat, you can't drink on it. And the next day you're hungover. So mushrooms are natural. And it's like I said, it's basically pop with colors. Like you don't see anything that's not there. It forms patterns. Like
and if you eat weed, if you eat pot, if you eat marijuana, your body absorbs it.
I don't like edibles of pot.
Much closer to mushrooms. The way it's processed is more of a hallucinogen when you eat it.
Well, and see, like the way I describe like mushrooms to people compared to like acid is like because like edibles of weed to just smoking it, because like edibles, you eat it, you don't know. People say that oh, there's this much in it. Whenever it became legal in Colorado, they went to all the dispensaries and tested multiple batches of the same product, and it was all completely different.
Yep. It's because really even hard to get a real strict regulation on it, even if you're just one batch.
You don't know how much you're eating, and so that's why I don't like it, because I like to be in control.
Right.
Well, that's my fun.
And if I eat,
I
like to be in control of what I'm doing. So when I eat and it's too much, I get paranoid. I don't know when it's gonna end, and then like, but when I because I don't even smoke weed anymore. But like when I smoke weed, like you can control. You're like, oh, in a couple of hours I'll be fine. Like it'll come down. But like when you eat edibles, like you don't really have much control of it. So with acid, you don't know how long it's gonna last. You know, like you can't eat on it, you can't drink on it, and then you feel like shit afterwards. With mushrooms, like I said, like I can sit there and drink like a beer.
But you can control your dosage too. Like that was the thing.
Well, again, I only did it once.
You can eat a cap at a time.
I've tripped on LSD before too, and there's been a couple of times where the trip lasted longer than the party. And so there's that time where you're just like, fuck, dude. When
you're by yourself or with like one more friend.
But with mushrooms, you can eat a little bit, and if you're having a good time, you can eat a little bit more.
That's what I'm saying.
You can gauge it all. You can be like,
100%. So the only time I ever did it was like just one like paper or whatever, and like I said, I did it once. I don't know enough about acid to even like, I was just like, fuck it. I had done mushrooms a bunch, so I was like, oh, if it's like mushrooms, that's fine.
I remember
it's very similar, however, it's not. But so I did one little paper, but it was double dosed. So it lasted 24 hours. And so finally I got to the point where I was like tired of, like, I was at my friend's house. They had curtains over the windows. It was like 11 o'clock. And I was like, I'm tired of trying to fall asleep. I was like, I have a pool at my apartment. Let's go fucking swim. We're not going to fall asleep. Let's just embrace the day. I was like, I'm just going to sit here and be miserable. Let's go embrace the day. And it was just, oh God.
And I have a horrible LSD story. I dated a girl one time, and she was big into the Grateful Dead, and she'd follow them around. And there was somebody who had like an eyedropper.
Oh, right.
And they just blasted it into her mouth. Like, let's say 50.
I would never let anybody hold the eyedropper.
And dude, and one of the nicest people ever. But when all sorts of anxiety attacks, all sorts of issues that have come. So, all you people out there with eyedroppers, one drop's enough.
50 too much.
Do it yourself. Don't let somebody else do it for you.
Right. So you got to be really careful. I mean, we're having fun with it, but you got to be really careful and know who you're dealing with.
I'm just not big on like non-natural drugs.
Right.
Like weed's fine, which I don't even really smoke weed anymore because I just have too much shit to do. I get tired.
Right.
You know, like if I'm at like a festival or something, you know, and I'm having fun, I don't have shit to do, and I can go take a nap if I want to because I have nothing else to do. I have no itinerary. I'll do it, but like day-to-day life, I'm just like, back in the day, I'm like, I will never quit smoking weed. Right. And now I'm just like, I'm tired of being tired. I'm already tired. Why would I influence that more?
But it's really cool to see how the world's changed over the last 30, 40 years so that people really can do it legally out in the open and without fear of being incarcerated. So
I went to the first
kudos to California, Colorado, all the states. Washington,
I went to the first and second Cannabis Cup of the United States in Denver. The first year we went, it was legal, but it wasn't really like you could walk around and smoke. So we left the hotel room, and there's this big like arena outside, like concrete area, and
I like how you described that too. I got a huge visual of what this seems to look like now.
But there was there was like a concrete stage, and then there was like concrete seats, like in a semicircle. And I was just like, I told my friend, I was like, I know people are like rolling and smoking weed all around me, but I was like, I just don't feel comfortable. And then like this golf cart comes and basically does like a donut right in front of us and like parks right in front of us.
As much as a golf cart can do a donut.
Yeah. And it was I have a funny story about that too, which I will always think of if I do a lie detector test because it makes me laugh. But so this guy does a donut, and it's a security guard, and he has like these like khaki cargo shorts on, and he pulls out like this huge long pipe like this long and just starts hitting it. I was like, roll that shit up. I'm good to go now. And then the second year we went, because we had a rickshaw guy to get us like a bag of weed or whatever, and it was definitely not enough. Second year we went, the next year was recreational. We went to a dispensary.
Bottom out.
Like there was a point where on 420 we fell asleep at 6:30 in the afternoon with the sun still up. And I woke up and I was like, I just want to feel drunk. Like I couldn't even get drunk because I was so high. Yeah, we brought the drink, chocolates, gummies. Like we finally we had so much left over that we just rolled them up. And then like this like homeless like guy my age was like, hey, do you have a cigarette? And I was like, no, but I have this. And he was like, thanks, man. And they were just sitting out on the patio smoking cigarettes with people like that we just met at the bar, obviously when you're out of town, you meet fun people. And we're just like, here, smoke. Because we couldn't take it on the flight, And never in my life have I ever not wanted to be high. But I was finally at the point where I was like, I just don't want to be high anymore. Right. Like, it was
They changed the regulations in California. Now you can fly with marijuana.
So I have flown several times with weed. Not in... flower form, but I've flown with
the cartridges,
or even edibles.
Right. Well, even edibles are good.
Yeah, well, even when
especially like candies are great because they don't smell at all.
Yeah, well, even when we like this was years ago. I can't even remember what year it was. I think I was still living in New York at the time, so it had to be like 2013, I think, that we went, and this is before like electronic, like before like the oil, like smoking oil was like a huge thing. Yeah. So my buddy would just like throw it in where his keys and change and wallet were like passing through the thing. He's like, and then like I remember going on a cruise and they're like, do you have an electronic cigarette in your backpack? And I was like, oh yeah, you mean my e-cig? It's right here. And I just showed it to them and they're like, all right, go on through.
Yeah, I had somebody ask me one time at a concert. They saw that I had a pen. And they were like, what's in it? And I was like, CBD? All right. I was like, really? That's it? You just take my word for it?
Well, shit, if it's legal here and fucking...
Well, they're not going to hit it,
Well, that was the cool thing, though. I remember one time I traveled for work, and I got laid over in Denver. And I only had like 45 minutes to catch my next flight. So I missed my next flight. They wouldn't let me on. And I was so thrilled.
How long was your delay?
It was 10 o'clock, so it was the last flight, and they were like, you're going to have to wait until tomorrow morning. I was like, thank God.
I'm going to get a good fucking delay.
I was like, the airport's going to pay for me to have a hotel room, and if I get an Uber, and the Uber's like, where to? And I was like, in the address, it was to the hotel, and I was like, you know where a dispensary is? And he was like, right this way.
That's something I definitely miss about Washington is just like being able to go to the store and just like because it's
a different world.
Even when I just moved from here, like I lived in Seattle for years and years, but I'm from Central Washington, which is very rural, very Republican, very back-ass words, so I like to put it. But even in the town that I just came from, there's 4 or 5 dispensaries within a 20-mile radius. 2 of which are very much in the center, not center of town per se, but like in town. They're not, you have to drive to the boonies or whatever. And it's just great. You just walk in and you just like, this is the conversation that I love to have with people is like, I know a lot about marijuana. I know strains. I know, different effects, all that stuff, because I've just grown up on it and done research. But it's still nice to just walk in and be like, this is what I'm feeling right now. I've been having trouble sleeping, or maybe my back's been hurting a lot. I like to smoke before I go to work, so I want something uplifting, blah, blah. But you can just like walk in and tell them these things, and they'll be like, they send you on your way with something that will suit what you're going for. And then you can come back the next time and be like, hey, that really worked for me, that didn't. And then they've got a different thing to suggest you.
So whenever I went into that dispensary, they had like a TV screen, and they flashed like the name of the strand and then like the effects that it causes, like whether it's sativa or indica, and they would tell you like the effects that it helps or hurts or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's amazing. But when I went to Canada, because it's legal in Canada, and but the thing is, it's really hard to go. Like, it's really hard to find a place that actually sells it. Like, you have to know a local that like to go to a cafe and like because it. Even though it's legal, they don't really have like dispensaries that are like, hey, come on in and buy some weed. And so, like when I was just walking, because I went to like Graffiti Alley and some other places, and I was like, it's completely legal to smoke on the streets, but like if I walk by a school or daycare, obviously I wouldn't smoke or anything like that. But my friend was like, he was like, it's completely legal. You might get some looks, but he was like, just don't smoke like going around like a school or anything like that. He's like, but it's definitely not as okay just because it's legal. He's like, as people think it is. So, I thought that was interesting because the whole country is legal that way.
Because our country is not. Our country is not in line with each other.
Silly with me.
Well, you got so many different states with so many different views.
It's funny to me too because sorry not to cut.
No, you're all good.
In like again, like being from Washington State and seeing the two sides of that state, because it's a very drastically different state from one side to the other.
Right.
Back where I'm from in Central Washington, that shit was still very frowned upon. They'll write you up. They'll arrest you whenever they can. And I used to be, 10, 15 years ago, way before it was ever legal, I could be outside of a bar, a concert venue, whatever, and be smoking a joint, and cops would walk by and wouldn't even give you the time. They could give two shits about you smoking a joint outside of a fucking bar.
They got bigger fish to fry.
Which is the way it should be. It's just so silly. Like
it is. It's very silly, but it's just the contrast of that's how our whole country is. It's like some people give a shit, some people don't.
Well, and the laws from state to state change so much. It's like we talked about vape pens, we talked about the THC cartridges. Because it's a processed chemical, in some states that's considered a felony. So even if you just have one cartridge, like me and a buddy of mine were watching this, like one of those crime shows. And this guy's all like, the cops all like, do you know what's in this thing? And the dude's all like, well, I think it's CBD. He's like, well, I tested it and it's THC. That's a felony in this state. You're going to jail. And I was like, the dude had a vape pen, and now he's got a felony in some fucking state. And it was blowing my mind.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to another guy, and he's all like, he's super loud, and he's all like, we're in a state that's not 100% legal. And I had a vape pen on me, and I was like, dude, I need you to, not everywhere's, he's from Colorado, not everywhere's Colorado.
Yeah.
Not everywhere's California. I go, you're out. I go, dude, you're fucking with my life here.
Yeah.
I don't want some dumbass fucking
just
cop
silly
feeling
mistake.
like he's gonna make a point out of me because I got a fucking vape pen. So at that point, I was like, you know what? Being 46 and having a fairly responsible job, I look at all the laws of the state that I'm going to, and I just don't fucking push it.
Yeah,
I'm just
don't
like,
do
you know
it.
what?
Yeah.
It's not worth it for me. Eventually, I'll be back in California. Eventually, I'll be back in Colorado.
I mean, it's not
Eventually, hopefully, I'll get to do some traveling to Washington.
Like,
and the worlds are changing. The worlds are changing, and it's going to get better. And all this. The thing is that states now realize how much money they can make.
Oh God, it's
100%. You can actually, even without it being marijuana, there are people who have hemp houses that are completely made out of the hemp plant.
Right.
Like the entire building is made out of hemp, like hemp concrete, hemp
and the
products.
CBD market is going crazy.
Oh yeah,
and that's opening the door for recreational at some point.
Well, somebody I work with is like really, really sick, so she quit smoking cigarettes, she quit doing the vape, she quit drinking because like her diet is down to like 12 items.
Right.
But the CBD oil somehow helps her when marijuana doesn't. So, I mean, it does
with
have
no side effects.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and it does.
All these medicines that have all these side effects. Because my first hearing of what CBD was from Colorado and Charlotte Webb. There was a family that they had a daughter, I think it was, that was having seizures. And so the state that they lived in, they couldn't get legal medical marijuana. So they went to Colorado. There was this dispensary or group of guys that got together, created a strain that had as little of THC as they could put in it, and named it after the little girl and called it Charlotte's Web. So there's a Charlotte's Web strain, and people give that to their kids. And it's not, you don't have to smoke it. You can make it into an oil. You can make it into what they call it a tincture. So that you squeeze it into your mouth, and then it alleviates
drinks too.
And if you don't,
just regular drinks.
Right, and if you don't believe it, just YouTube. There's guys out there that are having seizures, and it shows them smoking a joint, and 15 minutes later they're fine.
Yeah. 100%. Well, and the thing is, and that's anything. Period. Like, just not having enough information about something, people are terrified. So, like.
The coronavirus.
Or
I was saying like coronavirus.
or
like
misinformation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or misinformation. And so people, and that's also why we're doing the podcast, is because like things that
way to loop it back in.
I know.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Some of this last 45 minutes is gonna leak back in there.
I've never actually ridden a Segway, but I do know how to make one.
Where's the clapper? Where's the clapper?
I feel like you stole that from me somewhere inside.
No,
that was so cheesy.
You never came up with that.
That was so dumb.
That was incredible.
Y'all hysterically laughed, and I got a clapper. I got the clap for that one.
So, incubation period for the clap.
Yeah. Now I forgot what the whole segue was about.
You were bringing it all back in because we were talking about weed and something, and then you brought it back into.
Oh yeah, because like that's how the podcast is, because
being informative.
Being informative, and people are just ignorant to certain subjects,
absolutely,
and don't know anything about it, so they're scared of somebody that's different. Just like that's just human nature. Period. People are scared of something different. I actually embrace it and fucking go for it full throttle.
I don't think it's stoppable. I always think it's funny that it's almost like, to me, like blacks' rights, gay marriage. It's like you see one side really trying to stop it from happening. And if you just look back at history, it's just a matter of time for those things to change and for the people to sort of get in line and for them to accept that what they knew in the past really isn't true.
But also, if those people didn't work so hard to make it so in their face,
absolutely,
then it wouldn't be that way. If people keep ignoring topics and subjects like that,
right,
then it wouldn't be where we are today. So, because I remember like my parents having a really hard time with my brother coming out, but like he was the president of high school. Like socially, it wasn't a big thing for him, which is not how most gay people experience their lives. Like they have a really fucking hard time. Like people throw Coke cans, like full Coke cans at them. My brother was really likable and like everybody, but he didn't come out. And like, so the first thing that people would ask me, because I would go to like similar places and hang out with like older people, like that were in my brother's grade, and they were just like, "Oh, is so and so your brother?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's not gay," because he never told me. So I would stand up for him, and they were like, "I was just about to ask you that question," because he would say, "Have a Dolly Jolly day," because he loves Dolly Parton. And so I realized he never actually told me, "Hey, I'm gay." But when I went to go visit him for my 18th birthday, this like very sassy man like started yelling at my brother from like downstairs. My brother was on the second floor and I was on the balcony. I was like, "You don't talk to my brother that way." And that's when I realized, I was like, all right, he is definitely a gay man. And but he had a hard time because like we were raised Southern Baptist, so it was hard for my parents to accept it. But like now they know, they're just like, they realize it's silly. But I to this day, I still remember a girl when I was at volleyball practice in 10th grade telling her she was going to hell because she was gay. And it's like burned into my memory. And she's like, yeah, I know. Like, she totally brushed it off, but I was just like, I felt so bad. And like, I still do. Shanita Wall, I'm so sorry. I was brainwashed.
Live and learn. I mean, it's hard, especially in the South. Like, the South is very conservative.
Yeah.
So it creates an environment where people don't feel comfortable to be themselves sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, at least in this day and age, I think it's way easier for people than 20, 30 years ago. Where
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And like, and what I don't get is, you know, people who are transgender, non-binary, gay, like that is still that person there, right, without you giving them the title. They are still that person, that character, that person that you've loved forever, that you've grown up with, that you've raised. Like, they are still that person. They just, you know, they might have a little bit, you might give them a little bit different title than, you know, a straight white man or something like that.
Well, I mean, the same thing with racism. I mean, you know, it's almost like at some point, like I was listening to a story where this guy was talking about there's this black guy that's going out there and he's converting like white supremacists out of the Klan and stuff.
Hell yeah, that's super brave.
He's actually creating a museum with all of the KKK Klan attire from the people who have given it to him.
Wow.
That have converted out of that. And it's one of those things where he was having a conversation with one of the Grand Dragons or something like that. And the Grand Dragon's sort of emphasis was that white people and black people weren't the same race. They weren't like somewhere
we're
deep
all
down,
the human race.
We're all the same. And we're all, you know what, you look at somebody who's trans, somebody who's black,
it's 46 chromosomes.
And also, when I was younger, I always used to wonder if being gay was hereditary.
We might be maybe.
But
it honestly doesn't matter.
I don't know. It was just a question that I had. I didn't say it was good or bad, whatever. It was just a curiosity that I had. And I met this twin brother.
Same thing. Yeah, we're all. You know what? You look at the DNA of somebody who's gay, somebody who's trans, somebody who's black, somebody who's white, somebody who's Chinese.
It's 46 chromosomes.
Absolutely.
And also, when I was younger, I always used to wonder if being gay was hereditary or anything, but
it honestly doesn't matter.
I don't know, but it was just a question that I had. I didn't say if it was good, bad, whatever. It was just a curiosity that I had. And, I met this twin brother and twin, they were twins, and it was a brother and sister, and both of them were gay. And I was like, that's interesting. They were twins, but they were both gay. So he liked men and she liked women. And I was just like, that's awesome. That
really does kind of give it to the genetics, doesn't it? Sort of a little bit.
Well, I don't know, but there's people there haven't been gay people in their family.
Woody's trying to talk.
Oh.
There's something I saw recently
Put that wood in there.
Oh, damn.
Love to.
Wait, all right, I'm leaving.
Something I saw recently was actually about two twins who were both transgender. I believe they're both male, if I remember correctly. It's been a couple weeks since I saw the article, so I can't remember for sure. But mostly because I didn't actually read the article very much. I saw a post on it, but
Pictures.
I was just.
We can always look it up later and come back to the story.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was just just Facebooking, just scrolling and not.
If it's on Facebook, it must be real.
Well, I think this was because it seems more legitimate, but in the same vein,
that's incredible to me though. It's fascinating.
Let him finish his story.
Well, I mean, that's basically the gist of it. But I'm just talking in the vein of is it hereditary? Is it genetics? Is it whatever? Do we really know?
I don't think it is. I just think that those cases are coincidental.
Yeah,
I think that it's just,
because is gay or transgender a trait?
I don't think it is. It's almost a shame that you have the argument, is it hereditary or not? Which I don't think it should be someone who's gay. It shouldn't be they're out it's hereditary. Don't. If you just want to be gay and you're a woman that likes women or you're a man that likes men.
Yeah,
I think it's just what. I think it's just your attraction. That's it.
I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm saying to me personally, it doesn't fucking.
Oh, exactly. But that's what I was saying when I was younger. I just had that question. It was just a curiosity. It wasn't necessarily like I was trying to like put somebody in a box, but I was just like, you know, is it or is it not? I didn't do any research. I didn't ask any questions. I just had the curiosity and the question of it because, excuse me, like my brother's gay and I'm bi-curious and like, I think like a second uncle down the line was gay and that's like the only person that we know. I mean, sure, like way back in the day, nobody came out. Right. So, you know, you never know. So, I mean, but I just always wondered. I mean, it was just a question that I was like, is it a trait? Is it not? Which I don't think it is. Like being an adult now and growing up, you know, I don't think it's a trait. I just think it just happens for whatever reason. I think it's just the person.
I think it's just your personal brain chemistry, really. Like it just comes down to like what do you as a person think, not necessarily think, believe, but just like what do you feel? Like, how do you feel?
Exactly.
And how do you feel about others? Like, you know, I can sit here and be a completely straight male and go, I think Jason Momoa is a pretty fucking attractive human being.
That commercial is probably the funniest fucking commercial that I saw this.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
God.
Where Lisa Bonet's holding.
So she's like, come on. You're so close. He's like, take it.
Yeah, no, I
he is one gorgeous man.
Yeah, I can see that being a straight male. I think he's an attractive fucking dude.
I don't think, and I hate when guys are just like, I'm not going to say that man's good looking. It makes me a gay man. Like, have a little bit more confidence in yourself.
It's from the perspective of Lisa Bonet to go from Lenny Kravitz to Jason Momoa. Really? There's so many women that hate her right now because she's taken two of the hottest.
Amazing,
I hate
Lenny Kravitz isn't necessarily my type.
You don't like Lenny
He's
Kravitz?
not bad looking.
No.
He's not necessarily my type, but I do hate
I'm not a fan of his music.
I
don't hate him personally. I'm just not a fan of his music.
I just know that I could have Jason Balboa, and the fact that she took him first pisses me off.
You're getting Rocky Balboa and Jason Momoa.
Oh, Jason Momoa. I don't know. You're too pretty to remember your name. I look at you and forget. I'm just like, you're so pretty.
She's like, I could. She's like, I can draw your tattoos with my nipple. I have no idea your last name.
Oh, I should try that.
You got those etched into memory, but his name
Bubes Jason Malmoa tit art.
That's the next shirt.
I think
it's just gonna be Jason, and there's gonna be all these markups. On the back, we might put the right stuff.
Jason, sexy motherfucker. I don't know how to.
Aquaman.
Just have like Malmoa blurred and like me just going with hearts for my
eyes.
Jason something or other. I don't give a fuck.
Is it Jason?
It is Jason.
I'm kidding. So I'm like, is it even Jason? Who cares? All right, guys. Well, that's the end of this random ass episode. I know we kind of touched base on some sexual topics, but we
started with blowjobs, so that's good.
We did. We also
it ended with vodka shots.
I definitely did not partake in that one. Like I said, if it's brown, I'm down. But again, you can like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Let's Talk Boobs. It's spelled pubes with a B. And make sure you share with your friends.